A national organization is claiming victory over West Virginia City Council, but the mayor says the issue was already resolved years ago. The Freedom from Religion Foundation sent a letter to Ravenswood Mayor Josh Miller after a council member led a Christian prayer at the January 20th City Council meeting. The group cited a fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals precedent that weighs against prayers led by local legislators and asked that council-led prayers not become a practice at future meetings. Mayor Miller responded in an official letter saying the newer council members have been informed of the law. But Miller says this is nothing new, and the city had already addressed the same issue back in 2017.
We resolved this issue a long time ago. We've had some new council members and things come up, but, no one's stopping, prayer. When I open up the meeting, I say, would anybody in the public like to lead the invocation? If not, let's please recognize a moment of silence.
Miller says he has no interest in turning this into a bigger issue than it needs to be. Under the current policy, members of the public are still welcome to lead an invocation at council meetings, but council members themselves will not.